Good day, everyone. Good morning for those in Australia. Good evening for whoever else. um, yeah, we're continuing on with the same scene as last week. Because as weird as it sounds, the slower scenes always take me longer to do than the more action oriented ones. I have done a bit more though. I've done a bit more than what I left off with on Friday. Got to move it a bit more polished up, so she's now like actually stepping. If you actually look at if you look back and see how she's moving. Hey, how you doing? Um, she actually moves. She actually walks up a little bit, just to give it a little bit of context for me when I'm animating it. And um, it may be that if I ever choose to change the camera angle, at least I'll have some basic blocking of uh, the the layout here. But you can see here, I've actually got her sort of like bouncing up and down as she walks, which looks cool. Got a bit of a blink going on. I still need to add a bit more of a pause here, right there, so she can actually like inspect things and think about what she's going to do. So I actually might focus on that today. And of course, you can ask away, ask any questions. Thanks for the follow, Sardine. Um, yeah, make sure it's going to look really polished. I just want to make this look really nice. I'll probably extend the scene as well because I have some ideas for the character stuff. So what to do with the kid. So I've got some ideas with that now, thanks to the way this seat shot has evolved. Hey, how you doing? Um, so yeah, it's gonna be pretty good. I think. I think the scene is gonna be really nice once it's all done. Um, so yeah, today I'm gonna be, as weird as it sounds, focus on this part first, just that part there, and yeah, and then we'll move on to other things with this shot as well. So starting off, I'm gonna select everything here, copy or keyframe everything that in that scene there. That's a major point, I guess you can say. Like, oh no, sorry, this would be a major point here. Right there would be a major point. Kind of keyframe that. Um, and I'll probably move these keyframes forward a little bit and keyframe there, just so I have a bit more of a pause. Yeah, that's a bit better. And I'm going to improve the way the hands pose, all that sort of stuff with this shot. So straight away, I got to fix up that thumb. So the way it's rotating there. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, just delete those keyframes here. Yeah, it's a lot better with the slowed down motion there. So what I want to do is have her hand. I'm going to wrap her fingers around that the pole in a nice way. So that's the plan today. Get that looking good. I kind of like the way that she moves her eyes. I like the way she moves her eyes at the start, so I'm happy with that. Um, and again, I'm going to be converting this to twos as well. For those who don't understand what twos are, it's animated on every second frame, so it will hold on every second frame. So basically, be animated at 12 FPS in the end. So that's the plan as well. So I don't have to worry too much about being ultra specific with motion, because it will probably add to the charm as well to some degree. Anyway, going ahead, let's go ahead and pose out these fingers. So if you go to the I think at least in Blender, there are bone groups, not bone groups. I'm thinking of selection sets as a add-on. So I think they're planning on adding that as an actual function in Blender permanently in the next version. But what I'm going to do is select everything here and assign that to a new selection set, just so I can keyframe things as a whole. So I'm going to select the entire hand, all the fingers here on this set, push assign, new selection set, and I'm going to call that, this one would be left hand, left fingers. Just so I can, if I have to keyframe things, I can just select them all as one. All right. So I'm going to go and just pose out everything here. I can also switch it to local mode. I'm going to reset that pose a little bit too. Just there we go. And again, feel free to ask away, ask questions, do whatever you need to do. Yeah, happy to answer anything. And for those who are here, thank you for joining. All right. So, going to reset this pose and just set it up to be individual origins and just give it a little bit of a nice change. Oh, cheers. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. No, I'm always happy to, I really enjoy making the videos as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. By the way, if anyone has any recommendations for music that I can add to the background here when I'm streaming, simple music, feel free to give some suggestions. Oh, fuck. So yeah, just trying to get a nice clean pose out of this. That looks, kind of nice. Hey, how you doing? There we go. So yeah, what I'm trying to do here is just get a nice shape out of this. I'm always tempted to just spread out those fingers a little bit too, like along the Z axis in this case. Cheers. I'm trying to do it more often. So, yeah, 3 days a week at least, with the live streams. Yeah, probably lo-fi tracks. I need to make sure that it's, I can do it without getting, like, as long as it's licensed to be able to be used as background music, it's all good. In question 1, in terms of workflow, if I wanted to make an animated film, would I make all the characters first, like model them, then make the environment, then go into rigging? I wouldn't bother about the environment. I would be more concerned about the characters. I would probably get the characters done first. Environment can come later. Just, yeah, for instance, I'm animating a shot. I'm animating this right now, and there will be another environment that I have to model, but I'm not going to worry about that until I get to it. If you're a one-man band and you're making a film, prioritize what needs to be animated first, in my opinion, and then worry about the environments. Ultimately, this is just my opinion. Ultimately, if you have a good storyboard, you'll be able to model that environment pretty quickly to suit the storyboard, and rely on just blocked out environments for animation in the meantime, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my suggestion. Thinking about making a Transformers rig? Alright, cool. So there we go. I'd say look into doing mechanical rigging. Um, in the sense of mechanical rigging, I'd say there's lots of tutorials out there um, for that sort of thing. Um, in some ways they're a bit more or less they're more or less well less complicated than organic rigging in some cases because the weight painting is a lot more simplistic. You're basically the mechanic like in terms of a breakdown of a Transformers rig. It's not much different to my very simple rigging tutorial, like my first series for rigging, where it's basically just 100% weight painting certain parts of the mechanical objects. Um, so that's my suggestion in that regard. So there we go. We're getting a bit better with the hand's looking a lot better already, just with that change in posing. As the hand comes up, I'm going to so we got the nice pose here. Hand is visible there, and so you're going to go around to this point here, and I'm going to just change the fingers to sort of open up as she goes to grab that pole. So keyframe that. So there we go. No paid, no master classes. I will be doing in the future pro Patreons, but no paid content. Not in terms of like exclusively paid content. Just personally don't believe in it. Unless you're at university, unless you're going to university to learn that stuff. I wouldn't expect anyone to. I don't want to have to like put a paywall behind what I teach online. Yeah. Um, I think for that, you're better off just going to university for that if you're going to do that, or like a dedicated course, not necessarily university, but a dedicated course at very least. Um, yeah, I don't like the idea of doing like just a single like expensive course that still can't go through everything in a matter of a couple of hours. So yeah, um, everything I publish will be available for everyone. The only perks you'll probably get if I ever do a Patreon will be like asset packs, exclusive content that can help you with the tutorials in terms of like models and rigs and stuff like that. But in terms of the lessons learned that I put online, that will be available for everyone no matter what. So yeah, what I plan on doing with Patreon is that just providing content that will aid in the videos that I publish on YouTube. I think that's a fair perk. What do you guys think? I'm happy to get some feedback on that idea. Haven't done anything yet with Patreon, but that's what the plan is at least. So yeah, so here we go. With her hand turning, it looks like it's sort of turning. I want to have it sort of naturally turn a bit more earlier. So it starts to turn around here. So where it turns there, I'm going to change this keyframe. There we go. Almost feel like I need to change the rotation there as well. Let's see what happens when I do this. Might go with this a mid rotation. So let's see. Want it to be a bit more natural. That's all. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for watching, by the way, and for those who are here. Um, yeah. The thing about animation is that it's just a lot of repetition. Um, if you want to monetize, always thought early access to content is pretty reasonable. Yeah, that's a possibility as well. I'll probably be showing more. Again, it'll probably be more along the lines of things like this, in terms of working on films and stuff. I'll be publishing this stuff for sure, as a live stream, but like maybe completed scenes of other animations that I work on, stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool, I think. Yeah. It's just that rotation there. I'm gonna look at the graph editor. So just bringing that up. Gonna make this a bit cleaner here. Let's have a look at the rotations here and see what we can work with. So it's just the way that she's turning her hand there. It's a bit too sharp. I don't know why. I don't like it. So I might bring up, yeah, what I want to do is almost keyframe these areas here. So it's keyframe rotation only. And I might move those here. That's interesting with the rotation of the hand there, but I think that could work. Minus a little bit of a gimbal there. So yeah, just playing with that here. Just now it's just a matter of just cleaning up certain areas. So just see what happens if I delete. No, wrong one. Wondering why it's not deleting any motion there. It could be just let's have a look and see what we've got here. For some reason it's still rotate. I don't know. Don't like that at all. Let's see. It's that damn gimbal lock. You can see here, that's what's causing it. Because it crosses the axes here. So you gotta like clean that up. So let's go back a few steps. And I might just, instead of fixing it like that, I'm just gonna move this keyframe forward and get to slow down a little bit. Make it even more subtle. So just bring this keyframe back. So sometimes it's good to see how. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. What's the time there? So yeah, just going in, and now it's really just about timing out those fingers, I think. Because now they're all sort of moving at the same time. They're moving in tandem. It's not very interesting. So you kind of want to have a little bit of a delay in the fingers. So what we're going to do is grab the motion of these ones. As the hand comes down, the elbow goes up. Something like that. Jones flexpression. Chris Jones. Um yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. His rigs are insane. If I have to remember. And that's yeah, sorry. Let me look it up. Flexpressions. Yeah, yeah, it's insane. Yeah, he's I don't know how he does it, honestly. I don't know if I could have the patience to do such crazy ass face rigs. They're insane. So yeah, that's my opinion there. I don't think I have the patience for it. Like I have patience for different things. That I'm sure that if he was to try and do what I do, he'd probably have no patience for as well. So it depends on what you're interested in with 3D. All right, so grabbing these fingers. I'm gonna start with this one actually. Move this one back because grabbing. I just want to have it sort of grab the pole. So moving those forward. So already you can start to see what I'm trying to do here is get some overlaps in the hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Gonna move these back. So here, oops, shit. Interesting. Just a few frames. That's the difference, right? See what I mean by getting a little bit of overlaps there? You can kind of see that overlap taking place, or the delay in the fingers. And it looks a lot more, I guess you can say, natural. And what I want to do here is just a little bit across all the fingers here. And I could give this a little bit of a delay as well, just a little tiny bit. 1, 2, but it's already got some delay there. This top one I can probably add a little bit of a delay in the opposite direction. So 1, 2. There we go. That looks better. See what I mean? No one will see it apart from you. The delay. Well, look at the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very slowly. Now the fingers are like working one after another. Gives it a more natural feel to it. And then what I'm going to do here is have a sort of almost squeeze the what she's gripping. So once the whole thing has been gripped, almost give it a slight increase in I guess you can say pressure. So you can kind of give it that sort of feeling to it too. So keyframe there. Keyframe ever so slightly there. Obviously you have to counter animate a little bit here to stop some overlap. There we go. You kind of feel it. Oh yeah, for sure. You got to you got to play into the subtleties sometimes. That's the thing about animation. You got to train your eye. It's like exercising. You got to exercise your eyes. So for instance here, I'm just going to go ahead and delete these keyframes. And just see how we go. Good morning. So you can see here what I mean. Like that there's a change in the grip there a little bit, just ever so slightly there before she moves her hand down. And now with the thumb, it's sort of like the opposite. It's sort of going to drag, like a bit of lag between the different parts. So she's going to grab. And where's her pose here? So the pose here that I need is this one. I'm going to fix that one up a little bit because her thumb's sticking into the wall. So grab that. I'm going to fake the rotation a little bit. And just get that posed like so. So yeah, just playing with that, trying to get it looking natural. It's kind of hard sometimes with the thumb, especially I think the rig is not perfect, but you can always just force it. There we go. That looks a lot better. Already that looks better. So not sure how it's going to render, but at least it looks better in the viewport. So just going to grab that, copy that pose, and just see how that's looking at the moment. When she goes to grab, actually looks pretty good. And I might bring this a bit forward actually. Not sure why it's rotating like that, but I'm going to copy this pose. And of course, there's going to be some change in the pose there as she moves her hand down. Good morning. Hello again. Again, she didn't save the pose. Let's have a look. Let's go ahead and go back again. I want to keep that pose, so copy that pose. Paste that pose. There we go. That's better. Let's have a look. Notice that with the hand here, there's a little bit of a pause between the pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and delete a keyframe on somewhere along these lines. Or move a keyframe back. So you can see here that just like, even that, like a little bit of a pause between the fingers, it looks a bit unnatural. Like there's a pause, boom. It's like only milliseconds, but it makes a difference. So you really got to be careful about how you go about these sort of things. So that just, I want to make that squeeze feel a little bit less disjointed. So if you look at the graphs, you can see that there's a little of a hold there. See those little flat lines there? We need to delete those flat lines. So we need to go through and make sure there's no like just sudden stops in the animation. This one's okay, I think, because there's a little bit more subtlety there. But you can see here that those keyframes there, they're a pain in the ass. So you're just going to delete those. That flat line there, that represents a sort of hold that you kind of don't want to have. So going through and just deleting those and hopefully we'll get a smoother transition into that little pressure point. So if you look at the fingers now, that looks way better. I mean, it's subtle, and you might even not even be able to see it on the stream, but it's there. There we go. I'm currently making a spaceship room set to mash in with currently making it so I can work out corridors layout and never winging a spaceship design. Yeah, always plan ahead, man. Always plan ahead. All right, so we got that now. We've got a little bit nice hold. So now, when she moves her hand down, there should be some sort of almost like a resistance in the fingers along the surface. So almost like when she moves her thumb, when she's moving from pose to pose, there should almost be like a resistance, like friction. So going ahead and just almost making it look like there's some sort of, you can fake it, look like there's some sort of resistance. So like that sort of thing. That wasn't perfect, so I'm going to go through and just delete that keyframe and do it again. But where she starts to move, I'm going to keyframe there, and then have a little bit of overlap. So along the Z. So in this case, it's, is it Z or just in general? Let's just try and get it working. A little bit of movement, a little bit of she releasing her grip sort of thing, and then just sort of faking that somewhat. I mean, it looks horrible, horrible in the viewport, but in this camera it looks fine. So let's have a look. Let's make sure that that thumb doesn't slip around either. So copy that pose. Actually, let's go ahead and move this pose across. Copy this pose, paste it here, move this one forward. Yeah. Animation is animation, man. Same thing applies basically. So like the same sort of rules apply. So right now, that's holding too much. So I'm going to move this a bit further back. So you can see that kind of doing its magic. See that little movement, that little overlap there? Just a little overlap in the finger, in the thumb, just a little bit of curvature. And then back into a settle. So I might actually reduce that pose a little bit, bring that forward. I'm going to add a hold now from here. Copy that. Paste that there. Paste that there. until she yeah, okay. Yeah, so she'll have to grip her fingers a bit further in the future, but these are one of those scenes where like all the little things matter because there's not much action going on. The camera's not shaking, and it's a moment for the character to think. So these sort of shots I find way more difficult than just straight up action, movement, explosions, that sort of stuff. Because yeah, you really got to consider everything, where the eyes looking, what they're focusing on, that sort of thing. And if it doesn't look good, like in the area where you want the eye to be drawn, then it looks bad. It just looks horrible. So yeah, these are the sort of things to consider. Like when she's front and center, in terms of that when she's moving, her motion matters the most here. The motion matters the most here. As soon as that hand comes up and the eye's drawn to this is what matters. Her pose matters less here because your eyes have been distracted by this hand. So you can get away with fairly average animation here, but this animation has to be fucking nice. That's the big thing here. So that's why I'm focusing so much on that. And, again, I'm not the best animator in the world, but at least I understand those bloody rules. So just going ahead and making sure I put priority where it's needed. You know what I mean? At certain parts of the animation. So just grabbing that. There's that overlap. And then just before she goes to pull it, she has to tense up. So that hand has to tense up as well. Yeah, all the time. So the question is, do you have any eureka moments when you figured out how to make your character animations move less robotic and more natural? Yeah, it comes at a certain point. So for instance, like last week when we were animating this, that motion there in her chest, the little bit of overlap was just it was the one thing that I needed to make it feel like, okay, she looks less robotic. And the way I did that was by moving the animation, because like you always start your animation from the COG or the center of gravity. As soon as I overlapped, like delay the animation in her upper body, so she moved her back, she moves her body back here, but there's a little bit of overlap up the spine, a bit of delayed animation. Look at the keyframes. They're slightly delayed. And you probably see it here. I'm not sure where you'd see it. I can still overlap it even more. But that's where it was like that sort of eureka moment for me in this shot, at least. The other cool thing is also when you're doing motion like this to make it look less robotic, is even though you don't see the entire body, treat it as such to some degree. So, again, starting from the COG, treat it as if the character's walking in a full cycle, and get that upper body movement emulating, a left and right motion. So where she's going, originally when I blocked it out, it was just a straight line, just floating from one point to the next, right? So from here to here, it was a flat line. But if you look at the motion now, it's sort of emulating that, that single step forward as she comes to approach the grate. So keep that motion in mind. And then when she goes to turn in to grab the pole, her body turns in tandem with that. So her body is turning, her upper body is reaching out rather than just her arm to grab that pole. And then when she comes into settle, you can see her whole body is reaching out, not just the hand, not just the arm. Her whole body is inferring direction. And that's how you get a bit less robotic nature in the motion. Same with her eyes. So the way that you can also do it is by having her eyes lead the audience to the direction of where she's going to grab. One of the biggest things is that you always lead with the eyes, in my opinion. If a character's going to do something, you indicate where that character is wanting to go before they perform the action. Otherwise, it's too robotic. And the audience doesn't have any indication of what's going to happen. It's really subconscious when you see that sort of stuff. So when you lead with the eyes before you lead with the action, the character is more, it automatically makes it more natural, because that's how we operate as well. When you go to pick up a glass, you don't just pick up a glass. You look at the glass first. Your brain processes what you need to do to pick up that glass, and then you pick up the glass. So it's cause and effect sort of thing. So that's why I decided that when she approaches the grate, she's looking at the grate from a different angle, and then decides to look up. So she blinks and then looks toward ish. I have to fix her eyes a little bit where she wants to grab. And by doing that, you get a better, more natural sort of action. So that's my opinion there. In terms of the 12 rules of animation, or 12, I guess, guides, um, it still applies, obviously, but you can always break those rules. I wouldn't call them rules so much as guides. So when it comes to those 12, yeah, guides, think more Pirates of the Caribbean rather than any strict and fast things, because those things are broken all the fucking time. So you see, even here now, when she pulls her she pulls their hand down. I need to have a much longer pause for her to consider pulling that pulling that pole to see if it can, like, is it locked, to see if that gate's locked, basically. And her eyes have to sort of focus down on her hand as well. So her eyes aren't focused enough there. So here, I'm going to select everything, keyframe this, keyframe everything, copy this for now. Paste that, and I'm going to move that. Actually, I'm going to copy the pose in the viewport. Copy the pose, paste the pose. And I might give it an extra half a second for her to process. And that'll give you some time to see how, like, even without having that reaction there, it looks unnatural. That's how you get that robotic. That's how it ends up being robotic. See how she just stays put for like 2 seconds? It means that it doesn't, it just makes like, it just looks like the animation's paused and then it goes into something else. She needs to process her situation. That's what that pause is for, and we'll animate that in there. Oh, at least I'll animate that in there tonight, probably. That's the reasoning here. Even here, now going into the hand there, it also gives us a chance to get her hand to settle, and also a chance for us to get her to prepare for the next move. So that's really important with this sort of stuff. So yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask. So here, what I'm going to do is almost have her hands relax a little bit, her fingers relax a little bit. In this pose. So first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of overlap. So when she moves her hands up or across, it's almost like similar to the thumb. We're going to have them relax a little bit and overlap. So just moving those up. Like so. And then, yeah, relax those fingers a little bit. Oh, thanks. Cheers. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this done too. So notice how what I'm doing here is I'm relaxing the hand as she moves it down, because that's what you do in real life. Otherwise, you wouldn't move your hand wouldn't be able to move. Oops. All right, cool. Let's just see how this looks. I'm going to copy all these, or select all these. and I'm going to see. It looks a bit weird there. So what you need to do is, what I'm going to do is keyframe that and then move that down a little bit. There we go. I'm going to copy that keyframe over here. And you can see just by having that little bit there, you're getting, again, you're essentially just relaxing the hand a little bit as you move it. And I think it might be a little bit too strong with the rotations on the X, so I might just compensate that a little bit. I'm here to learn new things I might not know, or tricks to speed up workflow, but I won't know what to ask until you do something I don't know myself. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's why I'm talking it through, just in case there's something that might be useful for you guys. Um, but yeah, these are just little tricks. Obviously, the blocking is what really is really important. So we've done blocking. I blocked out this animation last week. So just working out exactly what I want to do is probably the most important part. And then worrying about these sort of details. Even now, I'm probably putting too much detail in this as we speak, but that looks pretty cool. I like that. Even then, I feel like there needs to be a bit more of a pause here before she even moves her hand. I don't know why. I'm gonna save this first. Copy this. Keyframe that. Just a few frames. That looks better already. I think that looks, yeah. And then with these fingers here, yeah, just clicking on these and just seeing where that overlap needs to be as well. It matters. Are you surprised that we've been talking about hands for the last hour? They're probably one of the most important things to get right. So it almost does it. It does demand the attention, I guess you can say. Yeah, and hands are tricky at the best of times. Ah, that's awesome. Good to hear. Let's try and do a let's. Oh, thank you for the What do I think about the House of the Dragon? I'm actually not a huge Game of Thrones fan. I'm not a big fantasy buff. And thank you for the super chat, by the way. I'm more of a sci-fi guy, as you can tell, from what I create. I definitely am keen on The Expanse, for instance. Expanse is mad. All right. So here, what was I going to do? I was going to do something here. Oh yeah, her eyes. When she moves her eye, when she goes down, make sure her eyes are following the action as well. Any ETA on the Patreon? I'm still working on it. I haven't had a chance to really look at it. I was planning on looking at it this weekend, but things got in the way. So yeah, just give it time, and yeah, I'll have it up soon. But yeah, hoping to get it done in the next couple of weeks, within the next week or so. Any preview trailer? I will probably do one. Do I think the Belters will win? I don't know, man. Like, I haven't read the novels, so I have no clue. I'm guessing spoilers if I were to, um, if the people who have read the book can give us an answer, but yeah, for sure. um, that could be interesting. They seem to be on the right path at least so far, but from what the end of the last season ended up being, I have a feeling that shit's about to go down. So there we go. Her eyes are so, yeah. I probably have to move her head a little bit, honestly, to get the right eye movement there. But it's so difficult sometimes to Let's see. That still looks a lot better than what it was a second ago. So just by moving those eyes, we're getting a better indication of where she's looking. Custom rig, custom rig. Um, Largely based on my tutorials, if you watch them, but a bit more complex than that as well. So I have, if you look at I think it's part 2 of my videos, I talk about using splines to rig arms and legs, like in a general sense. These are all spline rigs on the arms and legs and stuff like that to get some tune stuff and more twist. Good morning. Yeah, you can unmerge it if you turn off clipping. You can fix that, and then fix it up again with some more sculpt. So you see how she's moving her hand now? It's almost worth putting a blink there. So where she's moving, when she does a major move of her eyes, it's actually worth blinking those eyes to make it feel more natural. This is a good example of that, going from robotic to non-robotic. So I'm going to copy that key. I'm going to make a keyframe there. I'm going to copy this blink here. And as she's moving her head, we're going to add a little bit more movement. Should do expanse short after Danny shot. Yeah, maybe. Like, I'd rather be making my own films, honestly. If I'm gonna make a sci-fi, it won't be a fan sci-fi. It will be definitely a original piece. All right, cool. All right, so I'm about to run out of time here. I know I haven't shown that much today. It's been all about hands and stuff, but um, I'll probably have to wrap it up in a minute or two. Am I working on anything alone? Everything alone? Yes, at the moment I am. The sound, except for the sound, I don't think I'll be doing the sound on my own. No chance. Sound will be handed off to someone that does a much better job than me. No question. Let's do a quick little play blast to wrap this up, and let's have a look. So just going to go to viewport, render animation. And by the way, here's how it looked before. All right, let's before we do override the animation. Let's have a look and see how it looked before. Where were we? There we are. So I'm gonna read. All right, should be fine. I'm gonna give this a number here. Oh yeah, for sure. Chart my own course. That's definitely my career in a nutshell. So here's how it was before the hand. Here's how it was before, and the animation in general. So here we go. That's how it was before. Let's have a look at it now once we play blast this. And appreciate the super chats, Kelly Johnson, yet again. Really appreciate it. You didn't have to, of course, you didn't have to. So I appreciate any support that you've given so far. Um, let's have a look. Nice. Sounds like fun. All right. Let that play blast go out. I don't use render farms because I don't need it really with Eevee. Eevee doesn't really require them. If you're going to work with a real-time renderer, not all that required, and I don't do as not that much large-scale animation stuff with cycles to demand it. So there it is now. There's the before, there's the after, and I'm thinking that's looking a lot better than what it did before. The teeth are scary, yeah, definitely in the viewport, but once you render them, you can't tell. But the hands themselves are improving a lot since 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 where we started. So there it was before. That's the after. This is how it looked like before. Really robotic. So you can see the difference there. Yep, and added animation to the fingers. That's what it was all about today. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap up. It's 9 o'clock over here. I got to start my real job. Cheers. Thank you. All right. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you for the super chats as well. Appreciate it. Um, and I will see you on Wednesday. Hopefully, I'll have more of this done for you guys to see as well. That'll be really cool because I want to move on to something else. All right. Enjoy your rest of the day. Enjoy the morning, and I'll